Man School 202.
Better hear what I've got to say because you won't get it again.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Better man. Well, put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't. Yo. What's going on? What's popping? It's good to be here. Man School 202, GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, What Would Dante Do? The Sexual Revolution is being podcasted, and I am excited. Myq, can we turn this mic down a little bit, bro? I'm just,
Better? How does that sound?
Give me a little less. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Hot. Oof. Myq was hot. What's going on, people? How y'all doing? Thank you so much for tuning in. I know we run a little late today, but, it was raining. It was crazy. It was trying to get here, but we're here. And we're here to rock and roll. Live consultations on air, 347-464-2827. Anybody call in, ask me anything. I'm here. I'm open for you. I'm ready for you. Pause. I'm not open for you. I'm open for you to speak to. How about that? Had a good weekend. I was hanging out with Godfrey out at we was at Nyack. Sold out shows, was dope. People were dope. A lot of my fans came out to check me, which was interesting. I didn't know I had fans. How you doing, Myq? You good?
Doing good.
Myq got a new fresh cut. Got the high and tight, baby.
Yeah, the lady's been away, so when she comes back, I can't be looking like
you was just eating crumbs out of your belly button, baby. You don't want to do that.
I've been living like a savage for the last 6 days. I needed a haircut.
Myq's girl is cool as shit too. She
had a blast in Nashville. She
really
still talks about it. Yeah, she had such a fun time. Going to the arcade after.
All we did was joke and smash people and laugh.
It was so much fun. Yeah.
And I always go hard when the girlfriend comes around. I want to see if she's gonna wince. I'm here for it. She was totally 100% here for it.
I mean, I've had to bring her around the Legion of Skanks before.
Yeah. So we are Boy Scouts.
She's seen it all
and more. Yeah. So it was dope. The last Nyack was dope. People were dope. Shows were dope. It was a great time. Me and God had a ball out there. Here's something that has come. I talked about this. Yeah, we got a call already. All right, let's do it. Fuck it.
Caller, you're on the air. What's your name?
Yellow.
Caller, you're on the air.
Oh, okay. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, bro? You driving?
I am driving. Is my radio too loud?
You better roll up that window.
Nah, turn the radio down. I mean, turn the radio down all the way so it doesn't give us no feedback. But
my connection is messed up. I'll just catch y'all next time. Let me ask the question and then I'll hang up.
Okay.
So what do you do when you start feeling apathetic towards women? Just,
What do you mean
specifically? I'm still at work right now, but I make good money. I go to the gym. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing to make myself a better version of me. But I don't come across any women who are really able to keep my attention, so to speak. And, that's my question.
So
I hope you heard me. Thanks.
Yeah, Myq, we got to turn the headphones down. It's killing me, dog.
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
Yeah, no problem. So the question was, what if when you become apathetic to women, it's just doing your thing, and you can't really find somebody who's interesting or whatever. Now, that's much better. Let me just say this first. That is the curse of anybody who evolves. Like the more books you read, the more you travel, the more that you go places, the more that you work on yourself, the better a person you become. What also happens is the level of people that you feel are even worthy of your time and your effort decreases. I mean, that just kind of happens. I think you have to enjoy people for what they are, not where you're looking for something because you ultimately when you become the best version of yourself, you're self-fulfilling anyway. And when you have somebody in your life, you enhance their life, and it's nice to have them around. But I mean, ultimately, we want to become, kind of self-sufficient in terms of how we want to be comfortable with being by ourselves because we're dope. And I find this more than anything is it's just little things, I think as you mature, little things just annoy you, and it's hard to tolerate dumb shit. So I just think that's part of the game. That's just the curse. The question is, would you rather be a goofy motherfucker that don't have his life together and finds every chick with a vagina interesting? It's just the thing that really is what I think is really unfair is, from a woman's perspective, like if a woman is getting herself together and she's got all her shit together and she's moving forward and she's, feminine and kind and all of this stuff, and she doesn't have all the trauma and stuff. What happens is, first of all, it takes time to do that. So as a guy, we actually become better as we're older, as we mature, and women also become better personality-wise, hopefully, if they're working on themselves. What ultimately happens is the scope of guys that they're willing to tolerate decreases because they become more picky. But as they become more picky, there's also a situation because they're older, they have less of a and nobody wanted a Toyota Corolla with 200,000 miles from 2003, and so it really is a weird, nature kind of made a weird kind of situation where women become more picky and then they become less desirable. So as a guy, I think you have, as you become, just you have your shit together, you get to pick and choose exactly what you want. I think what's happening is the things that you used to find interesting, you don't find interesting anymore, and you just got to find people who are on your level or at least can keep up with you. I think it just happens that way. But I also think with that also comes with the fact that you are less happy. The fact that you don't want to be bothered is not a bad thing. It just means that you can be bothered when you want to, and you're not obligated to be around somebody. I mean, I know that's a little difficult for women sometimes because they get attached to you, and I know guys who I've counseled and really doing well for themselves and just kind of have that knowledge of self. But what they will also do is they just don't want to be bothered a lot of times, especially not with some nonsense. And I don't think that's a bad thing, man. I read a book, work out another hour, take a trip, climb a mountain, you know what I mean? It's just life is, and then when you have somebody around you, that makes you want to have them around you, that you're not just, you just don't have a placeholder, And if you want a placeholder, you can just have a placeholder. I think I would always rather have the choice to do whatever I want than not. So that's what I think about it. I mean, I think it's just a course of maturing as you become better. You become better as a human being. You put up with less shit. Just the way, that's just the human condition. So I hope that answers it, man. 347-464-2827. Y'all can call in, ask me anything. I'm here for it. I was, this is in the last few weeks of just, doing the lives and doing consultations. I am Myq, I don't know I am perplexed by the fact of how many people say that they're in a relationship or they're dating and don't speak to each other on the phone. Like, have never called. I know people who have had multiple dates and never called the girl up, never spoke to her on the phone unless, they like, I'm supposed to meet you somewhere. Yo, I'm over. I'm behind the stop sign or something.
There should be more than I'm outside.
Yeah. And this whole thing, I hear this from young guys all the time. It's the girls that are like, oh, I don't talk on the phone. Well, then I'm not. I don't understand how you can get to the point where you wanna be in somebody, right? But you don't want to talk to them. It's just an absurdity.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I wanted a fucking chicken. I want to talk to him. But I haven't had the expectation of, like, we're kind of seeing each other now.
Right. We don't mind using somebody as a dick cozy if we want to, but the reality is, I don't know. What I'm saying is, you have guys who are they're pursuing a woman and don't speak to her on the phone. or women have said, like, I don't speak on the phone. I only well, then I'm not. You got to understand something. By you saying no to the things that you're uncomfortable with, you're not saying no to. You're not losing anything. You're saying yes to the things that you're comfortable with, that you're operating on a level that you are most comfortable. Yeah, let's go. We got another one. Let's go.
Caller, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you from?
This is Steve calling from Chicago.
What's up, Steve? How can I help you, bro?
What's going on? So, would you mind if I'm a long time, I've been listening to you since I was really a teenager.
Oh, that's dope, man.
Going back to the Black Phillip Show.
Thank you, bro.
I wanted to run a scenario or a story that recently just happened, tell you how I responded to it,
yeah,
and see
go ahead. Rock
how
out.
you feel I responded to it.
Rock out.
Okay, so I'm talking to this young lady. She is professional young lady, smart. She seemed real cool.
When you say professional, you mean she's a hoe? Or you mean just she has a professional job?
Professional job.
Okay, all right. Let's keep it.
You try. You being funny tonight. I got you. But no, professional job. So I want to try to make the story as short as I possibly can.
Well, you go ahead, because I'm going to stop you in when you make mistakes. Whenever I see there's a mistake, I'm going to stop you anyway. So just go ahead. You roll.
Okay. So we talking or whatever, and basically I'm trying to consolidate the story as much as I can.
Yeah,
so
just keep talking.
We're texting, and one of the things she tells me is that she deals with anxiety because of her job, and she was going to travel to another city. She was going to travel to Chicago. She's staying in a nearby city. But
okay, stop. Let me ask you a question. Let back up. She's texting you this. How long is this text?
This is kind of not the important part of the story.
But you're already making mistakes. My question is this. I understand you want to get to the part that you want to get to, but if you're making mistakes before that, do you speak to her on the phone?
I do not.
Okay. It's funny thing because I just said this. Now, have you met with this
Can I stop you
Sure.
you go into your diatribe?
Sure.
I want to let you know. I kind of get where you're coming from, and I was watching that episode where you were saying that. I met this young lady in person. So I approached her in person and broke the ice.
Okay.
We met in person. So this isn't any internet awkwardness.
That's not what I'm saying. You're being sensitive about what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if your intention is to ultimately have an intimate relationship, whether or not that works out or not, my question is, I'm not even a question. I'm saying you should be speaking to her on the phone. If she can give you a whole diatribe about her anxiety in text message, that's a conversation that you should have on the phone. How can you know, or she can hear your voice or hear the empathy in your voice if you're not speaking to her on the phone?
That's fair. That's definitely fair. I don't have any argument with that. That's
okay. All right. Well,
fair.
So the first mistake is having this conversation over text message. The second mistake is that you're allowing her to dictate the terms of this by texting you on the phone. And if she can tell you her whole emotional and mental, she should be able to pick up the phone. But go ahead. So you're texting back and forth. She's telling you about anxiety from her job. Go ahead. Continue.
And the comment that she made was, basically the comment that I made, because I'm really trying to speed the story up because I don't, I want to get to the nitty-gritty. So she was basically explaining how she has anxiety about going out. She don't like going out with her friends. And the comment I made to her, just, trying to keep it cool, I just said, well, hopefully they show you a good time. And, if not, you could stay in the area that you want to stay in.
Now, stop. Let me stop you again. I mean, and I know you're trying to get through this quick, but when you say you're trying to keep it cool, what do you mean by that?
So when I say I'm trying to keep it cool, and like I said, maybe some of my comments are being sound a little bit out of context.
No, it's not. I'm asking you.
Story.
I'm asking you what you meant. I'm not taking anything. If you say I'm trying to keep, I'm like she's telling you about this anxiety. You're trying to keep it cool. So my point is, what is your intention when you say I'm trying to keep it cool? I'm just asking for clarification.
I'm not saying you're taking it out of context. I'm saying maybe I'm not explaining it as well.
But that's why I asked you. Just tell me what you meant.
Right. So what I meant is that I'm just trying to keep the conversation light and cordial.
Okay.
Because I understand that she got a real serious job. She seemed like a very professional lady. So I'm just trying to keep the conversation light and cordial, and just not have the conversation get steer all crazy or anything like that.
But let me ask you this.
So I'm just playing.
So, wait a minute, and I know I'm interrupting you, but there's a reason why I'm interrupting you, because there's things that you're missing here. You're trying to keep it cool so that the conversation doesn't get crazy. What would be a situation that you would think is crazy? Like, how do you think? Go ahead.
It's about to. It's about to.
All right.
It's gonna steer in a different direction, and you're gonna see why.
Okay.
I was trying to keep it cool. So her comment back to me is, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. It takes me a month or a month and a half for my social batteries to be charged, and I shouldn't agree to going out with them, but I already made plans to do this. And we had already been communicating for like a week prior to this, when she was like, I hope you have a good weekend though. Basically telling me to fuck off.
Okay.
After I had made that comment. So I text her back, and like how you said, maybe these should be phone conversations, and you're probably right. But
no, I'm right. I'm definitely right. There's no doubt about it that you're having these conversations with her, and then she has a misunderstanding because she doesn't really know. She doesn't really know what you're saying anyway, because you're texting back and forth, and there's no real tone. And if there is a misunderstanding, if you're having a conversation with somebody, you can correct that. So there's no doubt about it that this is a conversation that you should have on the phone, and you shouldn't be. This is why I say this texting shit, that you got to move from texting to talking to somebody on the phone. And if she's...
You don't think that maybe this is a generational gap?
I don't care. I don't care if it is. The point is, women will do to you what you allow them to do. So why are you contorting yourself as a grown-ass man? Like, I don't care. Like, I mean, listen, we don't ask... Nobody goes to the wisdom of young kids or young teenagers about religion. I mean, I've said this about... all these red pill motherfuckers and pickup on you go in, you're taking advice from people, not you, but I'm just saying, all of a sudden they decide that we're not gonna pick up the phone no more, and then as a grown ass man, you dictate, you say, okay, I guess that's what it is.
That's not what it is. That's not what it is. It's not any. To be clear, there is not any specific intention, like I'm scared to have phone.
That's not what I said. I didn't. You keep putting words in my mouth. You're putting words in my mouth. When I ask you a question, I'm asking you a question because I need to clarify it. When you explain it to me, you can't make an assumption that I'm thinking. I didn't say you were scared. I said,
say you said that.
Yeah, but you did. You qualified that. I'm not scared, right? Didn't you say that, or I said that?
I never said you said it. I'm just letting that be.
Do you understand if somebody say, "Listen, I don't mean to say no, I don't mean this in a racist way." That's something that's going to happen racist. You understand that it's a concern that when somebody says that. So when you say, "I'm not scared," nobody's saying that. What I'm saying to you is that if you decide that there's a standard in which you communicate and you operate as a man, you should stick to that. One of the principles, I've said this 1,000 times, I said relationships are easy to do. Just know what your non-negotiables are and then never negotiate them. And if somebody's not willing to meet you in terms of what your non-negotiables are, then it's a no-go.
What in this story do you, when you mention that, what in this story do you believe is a non-negotiable so far. I haven't even gotten to the serious parts yet.
Yeah, I understand it, but we were also talking about that you've made mistakes already in the beginning, all the way in this beginning thing, that you're texting this woman for 2 weeks, and then she's telling you extensive ideas about what her anxiety problems, and you're not picking up the phone. None of this would happen if you were talking to her, or it would happen immediately because she'd be so nuts that she would take what you have to say out of context and then flip out and then ghost you.
Well, Dante, I'm gonna tell you just to let you know, me and this young lady end up having a face-to-face interaction. But
okay,
so
this is after
the texting, and also just to give some like prior history, there have been situations where I have phone conversations. There have been situations where I'm just texting a girl, dating, and it was a successful situation. Meaning, if I wanted to, hook up with the girl, we hooked up with each other, or either or. That's why I didn't. But I
understand that. What I'm saying to you is, never should you be engaging with a woman just based on the text message. I'm not saying you can't get to the goal while you're texting. I'm saying you, as your standards, should never be in a situation where you're not picking up the phone and you're talking to somebody. Never.
Okay. I hear you. I definitely, you won't get no argument from me on that. I just wanted to be clear. It's not a situation of me not being able to do it. And I didn't say that's what you implying. I'm just letting it be known. I have talked on the phone before, so that's not an issue for me. But fast forwarding through the story, so the young boy, she basically told me, in other words, she told me to fuck off or whatever. She was like, you don't understand what I'm saying. It takes me a month and a half to, recharge my batteries or whatever. So I text her, and like how you say phone call, maybe I should have gave her a phone call, but I text her the following Monday because she didn't text me back. So I texted her the following Monday, and I was like, look, if you're not interested, that's fine. I totally understand that, but, I was not trying to rub you the wrong way. That was not my intention. And, I was like, I wasn't trying to rub you the wrong way. If I still like to get to know you, if that's not too much. And her response via text, as we're talking, she was like, I just don't think you understand how anxiety works. And she was like, I'm not the type of person that needs to go out every weekend, and you seem like you're that type. And I dread going out. And it's she was like, I dread going out.
And let me just say this: in no shape or form did you communicate that you want to go out every day. That's not what you said.
You're absolutely right.
Right. Okay. And so she made this assumption, and then she was judge, jury, and prosecutor on something that you never even said.
This will be another theme that continues on in the story. It gets a little even crazier than this, because this isn't the end of our interaction.
Now, I got to back you up. I got to back you up where there's another mistake. If you texted her and she didn't text you back, you should never text her again. Hey, I still want to get to know. Her not texting you back is the answer.
No, Dante, you are speaking to the choir here. You're speaking to the choir. That I typically do not do.
So what made this different? What made this different that you followed up again after the fact that she didn't hit you back?
I'll explain why. I'll explain exactly why. Prior to what happened, she was to give an example, I talk to women like you have a thing where
you got to stay I need you to stay to the story. What prior to her what?
I'm trying to provide context so you understand.
I don't need the context. No offense, but I don't need the context. I slept with 3,200 bitches. I don't need the context. Whatever you've gone through, I've gone through it 100 times. Just tell me the story.
So she was being a very nice young lady prior to that.
And then, okay, so let me ask you something. Before somebody's a serial killer,
I'm trying to
but let me, yeah, but you're, well, there's mistakes being made before. You asked me to take this story, and then like I said to you, I'm gonna stop you every time I see a mistake.
Okay.
Okay. So when you said to me prior to that she was being a nice young lady, until she wasn't a nice lady. Like a dog can be a big old fluffy dog till he bites your ass. Then when he bites your ass, he's a dog that bites. You don't even know this woman. So her flipping.
I ain't finished my answer, Dante.
Go ahead.
And I ain't trying to argue with you either.
But you are arguing with me. So be clear, you're arguing with me. You keep going. I'm telling you. Here's the thing. Did you fuck this chick or no?
I'm trying to get to the story. You ain't letting me get to the story.
Okay, go ahead.
So, to give you my answer to your original question, I only hit her back up because she was being a very nice young lady, and I felt like you said, maybe we were texting. I felt like maybe she took what I said out of context or the wrong way.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you without you telling me I didn't get you to the story. My question is, what was nice about her, assuming that you were somebody who was going out all the time, didn't understand what her anxiety was, pushed her the wrong way, and then ghosting you? What was nice about that?
There was nothing cool about that.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, okay, you didn't know her. Y'all were talking. The minute you started getting into a conversation, she acted like a fucking asshole. And you're telling me because she was nice in the first place, you let the fact that she was an asshole afterwards slide.
Not just because of that. Not just because
it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. If you're this early in this kind of social interaction, and you already having problems with her, communication problems, this, that, the other, such and such, you don't understand, I'm ghosting you, then what makes you think that this is going to be great on the end? And even if you get the drawers, it's going to be a problem after you get the drawers. She's exhibiting. No, I am right. I'm not probably. I am right. She's exhibiting red flags already that this woman has either mental problems or anxiety problems, or she don't know how to talk to nobody. She don't respectful. She's unkind. I don't know what it is. All I know is this is a shit show already, and you haven't even been out on the first date yet.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if you having a conversation with someone, and you say something, and they take something you say the wrong way, and they don't text you back, there's no scenario where you will reach back out to them and say, I did not mean that in this particular way. I understand that. I don't think that's totally out of bounds. So
you're asking me how I would handle it. That's what you're asking me. Is that what you're asking me?
In any scenario with that.
But you're asking me.
You don't feel like I should have. Well, matter of fact, you don't got to harp on it. If you feel like I shouldn't have texted her back, then I accept that.
Well, here's the first thing. If you were on the phone with her, right, and she said, "I don't think you understand," and you go, "Well, what?" And you had just said, "What don't I understand?" Right? Then she wouldn't even be able to sit in on this fact that, oh, this guy doesn't get me. He doesn't understand anxiety. All this shit that probably from listening to you is probably not even true. It sounds to me like you were being empathetic to the fact that she has this anxiety. I don't think you did anything wrong other than talking to her on the phone. And if you were talking to her on the phone and she said, I don't think you get it, and you could go, well, I don't understand what I don't get, but if I'm interested in getting to know you, explain to me what I don't know. And then she would have to articulate it. And then if she had you pegged wrong, you could have corrected that on the spot. She could, because she has no invested interest in you. You haven't met her. You haven't gone out on a date. Y'all haven't slept together. She has no vested interest. Let me say something real quick. This is going to be a viral clip. When a woman doesn't know you, she has to find every reason in the world why not to fuck you. But once she's fucked you, she has to find every reason why she did. She will defend it because once she has a vested interest and she's already in it, she needs to justify it. So they're always got their guard up because they don't want to. I don't want to deal with this. It's going to be a problem. And that's why she was so quick to not text back. What I'm saying is once she said she texted and she didn't text you back for a week, there's no reason to text her back. Your answer is that she's not interested. When you want to text somebody and you're interested in somebody, you text them back, right?
Correct. But to me, in retrospect, even though I agree with you, the story is not over. You understand?
You can finish the story, but I want you to understand that if you're asking me how I see this, if you was on the phone with her, none of this would happen. Number two, even if you were texting with her, the fact that she didn't text you back, it's done. Move on. But go ahead, continue.
Okay. So she didn't text me back again after that. And again, we had this conversation on Monday via text. So after she didn't text me back again, mentally I moved on and I was like, all right, it's over. It's time to move on to the next. So I'm out again Friday night with my friends, with my homies or whatever. We out and it's like 12 o'clock and she texts me and she was like, I know it's late, but are you out right now? And I was like, yeah, I'm out. Yeah, she said she was in town. So we meet up. And I guess she's in town for the weekend. So we in my car, we go back to my car. I'm taking her back to her hotel. Mind you, I was really kind of at that moment when she texted me, I was a little bit taken aback that she had reached out to me because I thought it was over with. But I guess she was in the area, I was in the area, so right place, right time. So, we in my car driving to her hotel, and the comment that she made, she was like, yeah, from the way that you responded about the anxiety, because this is a young Latina girl, she was like, me and my job, being a Latina woman, it was difficult for me. And the way that you responded about the anxiety, you seem like the type of person that never been through anything rough in life. And, I want to know the type of person I'm with. I want to know how they would react in a crisis. How would you react if if one of your family members died from cancer? Those are her exact words.
Okay.
Little do she know, my mother passed away from cancer.
Okay.
I watched my mother pass away from cancer.
And so, what was your response?
In front of my face.
What was your response?
This was my original question. I wanted to tell the story first. My question to you is, how do you feel about this response? My response to her, my initial reaction was to check her because I felt like she was being disrespectful.
You absolutely should have checked her. You absolutely should have checked her.
My initial reaction was to check her and kick her out the car. My response was, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. We on the way back to her hotel. I just was like, you know what? You're right. I have had a blessed and fortunate life. I ain't been through too many rough things. I really played it off and just.
Is that true that you haven't gone through anything? Because you just told me you watched your mother die of cancer. So how is that not a rough thing?
It is a rough thing.
Okay, so have you gone through rough things or not?
Yeah.
Okay, so why'd you lie?
Because
the minute I asked you already know what the principles are that I talk about. Is authenticity, telling the truth, credibility, keeping your word, empathy, having empathy for somebody else. So when I ask you, why did you lie? There's no answer for that. The answer is I shouldn't have lied. I should have said honestly. I should have been honest about it. You're not being honest about this, which how can you expect somebody to respect you if you're not honest?
Okay. Well, I basically prior to this, I've had discussions with people where they say, and maybe you experienced this during our convo, even though that wasn't my intention, but they say that, oh, Josh, you're being too argumentative. Because there's been times in the past where girls have said things that I don't like or that I feel is disrespectful, and I check them, and it escalates, and then I end up kicking them to the curb.
There's no reason for it to escalate. The point is that if somebody is going to be disrespectful, then you just move them or you just slide them off your plate. There's no reason to get angry. There's no reason to check them. It's just to say, look, I really feel like that's disrespectful. And on that note, let me get you home. That's how you handle it. Okay. Because and I don't care about the other discussions you've had with other people, because what the fuck do they know?
One of the people that's made that comment, to be fair, this is not just necessarily with relationships though, but one of the people that have made that comment was my father.
I don't care. I hate to say it, but I don't care. I don't know what kind of game your pops got. I don't know what kind of dude he is. I don't know if he understands the principles that I'm expounding. The reason why I do this show is because I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And just because somebody has senior to you doesn't necessarily mean that what they're saying makes sense. You can add it up and make sense. Why should you ever have somebody who's disrespectful and you not check them? You don't have to be mad. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to be aggressive. You could just say, I'm just not into. Let me just take you home. And then when they ask you, well, why are we going home? I go, because I feel like you're disrespectful.
You say there's no answer, but to me, I have two, like a car, like a car has a lever, or I'm not sure what it's called. I'm not using the right term. But when it's time for me to check somebody, the way you're doing it politely, I probably wouldn't have done that, because that was such a serious thing that she said. My initial reaction went to, it's like, it's time to actually check her for real. The way you said it, maybe I didn't have the poise to say it.
No, you had anger. There was anger there. So what if I said
there was anger there?
Yeah, there was anger. You felt as though she was disrespectful, right, and you was on that, yo, bitch, who the fuck you talking to? Which shouldn't be the case. The point is, what do I say about that? This is we go back to the same principles over. Never let emotions have a seat at the table, because when you let emotions have a seat at the table, you cannot make clear, concise, logical decisions. So you being angry because
I didn't respond emotionally.
It doesn't matter. You still should respond. If somebody's disrespectful, when is somebody disrespectful in the history of anybody being disrespectful and then they become less disrespectful? That's just not, that doesn't happen.
No, you're right.
So what I'm saying is you giving leeway, you giving wiggle room for somebody to be disrespectful, all you're doing is saying, this is what you're communicating in the subtext. I am okay with you being disrespectful. So where's it going to go?
Here's my problem. You're right. Here's my issue.
I know I'm right. I appreciate that, but I know I'm right. I'm reading this, and you're trying to give me all the details. What I'm saying is, if you follow the principles in a rigid way, I tell the truth. I show up when I'm going to say I show up. I have empathy for other people and for their situations. I don't let emotions have a seat at the table. I put myself first before anybody else. I listen and I pay attention and I make logical decisions, and I show you the work so that if you follow those principles, none of this story would have happened. So the intricacies of the story don't even matter. I know it matters to you because it was the twists and turns. But what you don't understand is, in the context of the twists and turns, you were discounting your manhood. You were lying. You were not being credible. You were not putting yourself first. And this is why this whole thing went for shit. When you're talking to and it doesn't matter. And if she called you and said, I want to see you, and you said yes, as soon as she gets in the car, the first thing you're going to say, first of all, I don't even understand why you're calling me. You ghosted me, which was disrespectful. You made assumptions about who I am and what I am, and it's just not cool. Now, if you want to start from scratch, we're going to need an apology first. Now, you put her in a position where she respects you, even if she's an asshole, she's going to be like, fuck you, and she's going to keep moving in. But then she did you a favor because she's already nuts. You getting up with her, hooking up with her, and whatever the fact that you keep compromising what your principles are, this is going to be a shit show. There's no turning around. Her anxiety is going to be your problem. Her mental illness is going to be your problem. The fact that she gaslights you and tells you who you are and what you are, even when you didn't say that, all of those things are red flags that you have decided to bypass and let it slide because you don't want to stir the pot.
Not over. The story
Go ahead.
not over,
Go ahead.
sir.
I mean, but you understand. But you do understand how many mistakes were made up until that point.
Would you like me to finish the story?
Yeah, but I need you to tell me if you understand all the mistakes that were made up until that point.
I do understand.
Okay, so continue.
Now I'm gonna tell you, I don't want to argue. I don't agree with some of the. I don't care.
I don't care if you disagree. You're calling me for the help. You're the one that got ghosted. I'm not the one that got ghosted. I'm telling you why you got ghosted.
Never said you was the one that got.
Okay, so tell me the rest of the story.
Okay, so we go back to our hotel or whatever. We go back to our hotel. I ended up taking her down that night or whatever. That's
you smashed.
the reason why.
You smashed.
What'd you say?
You did smash.
Correct.
Okay.
That's part of the reason why. I really played it cool once she got in my car. Even though
I know that. I know that. You lied or you gave white lies or mistruths so that you could smash.
Okay, and then the following Monday, I had reached out to her. We was talking or whatever. I had reached out to her. And I was like, just to let you know, I had told her about the situation with my mother. I was like, just to let you know, I have been through some rough things in my life. And I explained to her the situation that happened. So basically I was like, what you were saying really was, you can't really make those assumptions. So
okay.
I
and what was her
made
response?
that clear.
What was her response?
Her response was, I'm very sorry you had to go through that.
Okay.
That was just the one sentence that she said.
All right, and then what happened? What happened after that?
After that, I'm done with her.
Okay, so in other words, what you're saying to me is you lied to this bitch so that you could smash. That's the story. You met a bitch, you compromised all of your principles and so that you could slide in and smash. Dog, we all have done it. I'm just saying that you don't have to, and I'm saying when you don't do that, you still get the ass anyway. If you had checked her, if you had checked her out, if you had checked her from Jump Street, she would have respected you, and she probably would have hit you up anyway when she hit the town anyway. Because what you're not doing is you're not giving room for all this fuck shit that you dealt with throughout this. And I understand there's all these ins and outs, but what you're saying in the story is here's two archetypes in this story. If I was writing a novel, it would be the crazy bitch who don't know what she want and the dude who's willing to comply and put up with her shit long enough to go smash the pussy. That's the name of this story.
Okay.
And if you listen to me from the time you were 16, you know that everything that you did goes against everything that I talk about.
So my only issue is this. If somebody do say something I don't like or disrespectful and I check them, that's all.
Say that again, repeat. Say that. I didn't hear you.
When somebody, there have been a few situations, serious situations, something happens that I don't like, said that I don't like from a woman.
Yeah, you got to talk faster, though, because I got other calls. Here's what I'm saying. When a woman says, I'll answer the question. When somebody says something you don't like, you just say, listen, that's...
I'm explain it to you.
No, you can't. I mean, you've been on for 10, 15, 20 minutes now. I can't keep it. So I gotta go to the next caller. My point is, when somebody...
You interrupted me the whole time, bro.
No, I know that because you made mistakes through the whole time.
No respect law.
Huh?
No respect loss, but you did interrupt me a lot, bro.
Dog, because I told you that I was going to interrupt you on every step. I'm just not going to let you just tell a long story. You're making mistakes, and I'm sitting here complicit on the fact that you're making mistakes every step of the way. Your call is not just a call for you. Your call is a call that everybody hears and can learn from. And so if I let that go, then I'm saying I'm condoning the fact that you lied, that you misrepresented yourself, that you didn't put this chick in her place, that you put up, that you called her back after you texted her back after she ghosted you, that you bullshitted your way until you got the pussy, all of which is things that I don't comply with. I got to go to the next call, bro. Thank you so much for calling, man. I appreciate your support. You gotta follow the principles. That's all I can say. You gotta follow the principles. Mike, we good? Yeah, this is a thing, and I get this all the time. Anytime I do a consultation, DanteNero.com, DanteNero.com, click on consult if y'all want to. I understand that this is an emotional situation where when people are emotional, they want to tell you every fucking detail. It doesn't matter. The way somebody disrespects you doesn't matter. How they disrespect the story, the intricacies of the story. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to my dude because we have all been in that place where we got some little bad. I already know, Mike, that the chick was bad as shit. You know what I mean?
She better be.
She's definitely a bad bitch, right? And so because she's a bad bitch, he's making all these concessions because he's a bad bitch and he wants to smash. We got another call on. Yeah, let's go. I apologize to the listeners because that was way longer than it was, but I just want to say that there's real lessons to learn throughout the whole process. Go ahead. Who am I speaking with? Hello?
Yo.
What's going on?
Yo, what's up, Dante?
What up, bro?
Man, this is Armand, man. I'm from Louisiana, man, but I'm out here working in Alaska right now. Hit you up.
Nice.
Man, I honestly, man, I don't have like no questions or nothing like that. I just really like listening to that last phone call, dude. Oh my God, it gave me anxiety.
Well,
kind of like the girl he was talking about.
Right, but here's the thing about it, because I don't want to shit on dude, because dude's a fan, and I understand that. Look, don't get me wrong. The dudes that I deal with have these kind of problems. They have this problem, which is why I've given a guideline for your manhood. How you all you gotta it's wash, rinse, repeat. And if you deviate from that, you always gonna end up in some fuck shit. I know the bitch was bad because nobody makes that much consignment for somebody who he hasn't put a certain amount of value to because she's attractive. So because she's attractive, go ahead.
He bringing his value down.
Exactly.
And
so go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
I honestly feel like, brothers like him and even him himself, man, you gotta get your weight up. You gotta get your weight up, dude. Like in life, if you got your shit together, you don't gotta deal with all that stuff.
But
and furthermore, you're not gonna deal with it.
Here's something I would push back to you. Sometimes there's good dudes who got their weight up who just don't believe that they got their weight up. So yeah. I get that too. And I'm not gonna be the guy who shits on somebody because of the fact that they don't understand. The problem is, like, you arguing with me. I'm not trying to argue. Like, dog, I'm not asking. I don't call nobody up and ask.
And you weren't arguing with him.
I wasn't. But the point was, I can't let you, if you start talking to me and you are saying wrong shit, There are people listening. There's thousands of people listening to this live, and there's going to be thousands more that are going to be listening after this. I cannot let this go on without stopping stopping the clock and saying, here's the first mistake. Here's the second mistake. So I'm not going to let you just tell your story, talk about all the mistakes that you made, and then we're going to act like that's not happening, because the live consultation is not just for him. The live consultation is for every guy who has met some bad bitch and then compromised their manhood and their self-respect as if so that they could smash on the back end.
And I appreciate you for that, man. I really discovered you going back and listening to the old Patrice O'Neal, the old what was it, the
Black Phillip Show. And I say
man,
this all the time, that even the old stuff of Black Phillip stuff, there's stuff that we were talking about at that time that in the course, because we did that in 2006, right? It is 2024. The files have been updated. Right. So it's like, what? I wouldn't listen to me if I was talking the same shit that I was talking about in 2006. Like, that mean that there was no growth. I've learned nothing. I've been smashing bitches since 2006, and I didn't learn nothing from none of this. Or either that, or I was so perfect at 2006 that there wasn't room for any improvement. It's absurd. It's absurd. And I get this.
Go ahead. Keep doing the good work.
Thank you, family. I appreciate you.
I just wanted to say, man, keep doing the good work, man. I'm gonna just keep on listening to the game, brother.
I feel you. I mean, and call back, bro. And if you got a question, call back. I'm always, every Tuesday we're here. If not, y'all need a consultation, DanteNero.com. You can listen to the YouTube channel. You can listen. We also have a Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/manschool202. The number's 347-464-2827. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for support. But I'm just not gonna let somebody rattle off and just keep rocking out. Like, go ahead. What we got a call? Let's go.
Caller, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hello.
Hello. What's going on?
Hi. So first of all, I'm a little bit nervous. I've been listening to you for years now, but I will be honest, I fell off the bandwagon. It was about a few years ago when I was listening to Black Phillip.
Yeah.
And I definitely in the future will book a consultation with you. But I'll try to speed up the process and not be long-winded.
Sure.
One of the things that I've noticed, I always fall into this pattern where, so I've been in a situation where I've been in hundreds of interactions with women, and that's mainly due to the fact that I was doing the whole pickup stuff a few years back, and then I realized
who were you subscribing to at that time?
So it was something called Real Social Dynamics.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and there was a time where I would do a challenge where I would have to approach 10 girls a day and do that for 30 days, and I would do that for months on end. So, but one of the things that I realized is that, I was able to meet girls, talk to girls, even get on dates, but something happens, and something happens where it's a pattern, and I can't get through that threshold of getting, I guess, the sexual side of things.
You can't escalate it to a sexual perspective.
Yes, and I think one of the things is it's almost like I feel like I don't deserve it. I had this conversation with someone, and during the summer, and by the way, I have a girlfriend of 6 years.
Nice.
And with her, things was different, but I can just say with 2023 alone, I was in there was a Korean chick, a Russian girl that went back to Russia, this model in LA that I met, and this girl who I ended up doing like a handyman job for, and all four of those somehow, some way, I messed up. and it all ended around the same time period, and it was somewhere within the date and after the date. First of all, I understand the conversation must be too friendly, and I can't escalate even within the conversation.
All right, let me stop you. Okay,
yes.
here's the first thing.
Yes, sir.
First thing you said that's really important is the thing with the pickup artist stuff. Why? And don't get me wrong, the techniques are sound, the psychology, the behavioral psychology is all sound, neurolinguistics, these are all things, body language, all those things are necessary things to understand. But what the difference in what I do here is I'm not teaching you the tricks to get laid. I'm teaching you to be the guy who should get laid, who gets laid. Meaning it's not a false sense. I'm not creating a situation to give you the technique so that you could look like a guy who should get laid or women should find attractive. I am guiding you so that you can become attractive. That's a big distinction. And here's the thing. When you start really working on yourself and you become the best version of yourself and you're proud of yourself because of the fact of all the work that you've done and you're not lying and you're not compromising yourself to get laid and when a girl does check you, you go, listen, that is unacceptable. That behavior is unacceptable. Let me drop you home. Yeah, I've had guys who I counseled who a girl was just being, like, hey, I'm late, you're going to have to get used to that, right? Where a chick would come on a date an hour and a half late, and then, first of all, you shouldn't wait no hour and a half for nobody anyway. But
wow, that's crazy you said that, because I was in a situation with the Korean girl earlier, 2023. She was like 2 hours late, and I sat there, and I'm like, you know what?
What you're basically saying is that
I completely understand.
You are so important that I have nothing better than to sit here and wait for you to decide that I'm important enough. We have to understand that there's a subtext to the actions that we're taking, and regardless of whether we understand that subtext, you are communicating things with your actions. If you're not being the best version of yourself, and you don't like you, and you're not really working at yourself, and you ultimately know that you're a fraud, you will make it your business to sabotage the interaction because subconsciously you don't think you deserve it.
Can I also expound on a couple things?
Sure.
Let me know if I'm talking a little too much. I wanted to explain as well that so I'm an African American male. I'm a black male, and this is not by choice. A lot of times this just ends up.
Well, you being African American is not by choice.
No. No. A lot.
You would prefer to be Asian? I mean, well,
no.
I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you. Okay.
Yeah. But a lot of the women that I've ended up being with have been of other ethnicities, and part of me feels as though, and by the way, I said, so I'm not like only looking for girls that are not black.
Yeah, that's that. And even if you are, that's your business. I'm not judging.
Oh, okay.
But don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Black women are the pit bulls of women. They will. You can't be no weak motherfucker coming around some sisters, because they're gonna chew you up and spit you out. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that black women have been traditionally treated horribly, and their guard is up, and they have to be stronger than they do. So I understand that. But go ahead, get to the point. Let me get to the point.
Yeah. I think part of me also feels as though, and my girlfriend has even said that to me, I mentioned my ethnicity a little too much, and sometimes part of me feels a little bit inferior. I went to an all predominantly white high school. I was the only black person within my grade, and then when I went to uni, majority of my friends were white. A lot of the people were white.
Did you ever deal with any like microaggressions and racism and stuff like that, or just feel
not just that. I mean, I went to a high school where I would show up and have a banana taped to my locker.
Okay.
I had teachers making clacking.
Okay, so let me just say this. Let me just say this. anybody who, I don't know if you read. Do you read at all? And I find the thing that helps this more than anything. Knowing
I do read.
Okay.
I finished. I don't know if you're familiar with Ayn Rand, but
yeah, I don't need no fuck Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand was a fucking dyke who didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. So that's
okay. Well, I finished Atlas Shrugged.
The Atlas Shrugged is trash. That's the libertarian Bible, which is a whole lot of other fuck shit where people don't have empathy. So I went. Yeah, I went through my Ayn Rand phase when I was fucking 17. But that's neither here. What I'm saying about your particular history. You're talking about your race. What you're talking about racial inferiority. Read White Rage by Carol Anderson.
White Rage, you said?
Yeah, White Rage by Carol Anderson. It's a book that basically talks about the systemic racism from the inception of 1865, from the release of the slaves all the way up, and it goes all the way up to Obama and all kinds of shit. It's an amazing book. Gives you a sense of where you're talking about these people who you think who you ultimately have been taught that you're inferior of. When you see the trash and the things that you've gone through to just historical truth, then you realize that anybody who is putting bananas on you doesn't know their history. Because if you look in the history of Americans, white Americans have been savages, rapists, murderers, so they don't get to call you inferior. When you understand this, and after you read White Rage, then read Medical Apartheid, another really great book. And when you understand this, there's just it's like, how the fuck are you telling me that I'm inferior or I'm this? And so you got to have knowledge of self. If you don't have knowledge of self, and don't get me wrong, I understand everybody has their history, but if you don't know your history and you have this racial inferiority, you got to start educating yourself. That's where your confidence starts from.
I agree with that. I think I was raised by a single mother, and even though I was around a lot of white individuals, I had this split situation where half of my life was in the south side of Chicago or in like very bad parts of the Chicago area, and then the other part of my life was around uppity white individuals.
Yeah, so I totally get it. You get tossed around, you get roughed up by black folks, you get treated like shit, and then you have low self-esteem. Then you got a mother who you don't have a man in your life. There's no man in your life, and even when you have a man in your life, a lot of times they're not the best models. One of the reasons why I get so many dudes of all ages is because they just didn't grow up with a father figure. And I've had guys where I've run into them in the street and they're like, "Yo, man, can I hug you?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I guess so," But they just feel a kinship with you because of the fact that, and like I said, I had the earlier call and this dude was like kind of combative and whatever. It doesn't even matter. It's not that I don't understand. It's why I try to have the empathy for somebody who doesn't have the emotional acuity to kind of execute the things that I understand that it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing when you got a chick who you think is super attractive, and then you having an opportunity to possibly use her as a dick cozy, and then you don't want to make no mistakes, because if you make mistakes, then you blow the opportunity. So it's like, let me just make all the right decisions. So I totally get it. Hit me up with a consultation, dog. I can really help you with this. I really can.
I definitely will, because I went through all the other people, and they're all trash, and I should have kept it to the basics.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and please keep doing this.
Yeah. DanteNero.com. Click on consult. You can get me. Thank you, bro. I appreciate your support. This is it's a funny thing, Mike, because let me get that number real quick. But it's a funny 347-464-2827. I'm trying to get through the calls. We had a really long call and couple. We got another one. Let's go.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hello.
Yo.
What's going on?
Hey, yo, what's going on?
Who am I speaking with?
Yo, this is Tate, calling from Georgia.
What's going on, Tate? Tate?
Yeah.
All right, how can I help you, Tate?
Hey, what's up? First of all, what's up, Dante? Man, I've been listening to you for years, man. I appreciate all the advice you've been giving me all over the years, man.
Man, I love doing it, man. I love helping dudes, man. It's the dopest thing. Makes me wake up in the morning. So what's going on? How can I help you, bro?
All right, man. I got a question, man. My wife, I've been married to my wife for about a year and a half now, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm a truck driver, and I recently just got a raise where I make a lot of money.
Right.
And it's like she's going through a change right now. Like, she's starting to question everything I do. Like, she's getting insecure.
Okay.
And
why? Because you're making money?
It didn't start until then. Like, she's getting confrontational, like little things.
Like?
She'll get confrontational over, like, if I'm listening to you guys on the podcast, or if I'm listening to if I go back and listen to Black Phillip Show with you up Patrice, she'll question that.
Yeah. Well, like I could also understand that, but go ahead. but
right now, like, if listening to you right now, she'll be mad as hell talking to you right now.
Okay, so she's mad at you because you're listening to something. Did you ever ask her why you're angry?
I do ask her why.
And what's her response to that?
Oh, what you think I'm saying? I'm insecure. I'm a bad bitch. It's stuff like that.
Anybody that says I'm a bad bitch, you ain't a bad bitch, because you don't believe it. Second of all, when she says I'm a bad bitch, and you say what? That's not what I asked you. I asked you, why do you have a problem listening to what I want to listen to?
Right. It's not just that, man. It's like any decision I make, she's want to get confrontational. Like, it seems to me like an insecurity.
Yeah, of course it's an insecurity, but the question is that you have to ask, and this is why this text messaging, and I know that's your wife, so you speak to her on the phone, but I'm saying this is why I keep telling young dudes, stop. Look, yes, you might have to get on an app. Whatever. As soon as you could get off the app and talk to somebody on the phone, you should be talking to them on the phone, because there's no mistakes there. There's no misconception. And if there is a misconception, it's just like the first call. He said something, and I asked him a question. And then when I asked him a question, I ain't no punk. You know, basically, I ain't no punk. First of all, I didn't say you're a punk. And the fact that you say I'm a punk, I ain't no punk, means that you scary. And I also want to understand, I want to be clear. I'm not judging the fear. I was in a place where I was with some bad bitch and didn't want to make the wrong decisions because I wanted to be, and so I was, playing myself and I'm telling you, all I'm telling you is my experience, my 57 years on this earth. I started fucking when I was 11, so that's what is that? My 46 years of fucking. Tells me, gives me answers. All the mistakes that everybody that's listening to me now, I made them several times. Make no mistake about it. I'm no fucking prodigal son where I just got this. This was wisdom and learning and making adjustments and going. So here's my thing. You have to communicate. When she's getting, why are you angry? I'm a bad bitch. Right. That's not what I asked you. What about, and here's the thing, you got to learn how to ask a question and then hold people accountable to to the question that you're asking. It's the same thing with the first caller. I ask a question and you tell me something else. And then you tell me how, I'm a bad bitch. Yeah, okay, yes, we've established that you're a bad bitch, but I still need to know why me listening to whatever I listen to for my entertainment purposes, why does that bother you? Because what she's basically saying by getting angry is, you listen to other motherfuckers of this, that, and the other, you might leave me. I don't represent, that's what the anger is from.
And the thing is, man, I really love my wife, but I'm the type of guy where if it starts getting like disrespectful for me, I bounce, man. Like,
do y'all have kids?
I don't look back.
Do y'all have kids?
3 kids together.
Shit.
She just recently started acting like this, man. Like,
yeah, but here's what I'm saying. I've known women that fucking held it together for 2 years and then flipped the script. Like, I personally, I married somebody who was one way and was dog. I had my ex-wife. When I was dating her, this crazy shit, I'll tell you some crazy shit, was in my house. I was going to work. I was back and forth running, working, hustling, whatever the fuck I was doing, right? She cleaned my house, cleaned my dresser drawer, and put my underwear in little squares and stuff. I had a stack of naked Polaroids and pictures, probably, Myq, how tall is this? About 15 inches, right?
Roughly, yeah.
I had about 15 inches, 2 stacks of pictures of naked pictures of women with the dildo in their ass and sucking my dick, all kind of shit. And she took the pictures, right, while I was out, right, and organized them by bitch, like categorized, and then put them rubber bands around them and put them in my drawer. When I came home, she said to me, "Oh, I found your pictures. I put them all in order, and then I put them here." And I was like, "Oh, I might have to marry this bitch." And then flipped on me later. And took my son to England. So
wow,
this is what I'm saying. There's a situation where we all get God. So I'm in the trenches with y'all, and as I'm learning things, I'm passing it on. My point is, if this is something that I learned. People say communication is key, but here's what happened: is when you communicate with communicate with a woman, she will do stuff like she will divert to something else because she's dealing with the emotion. What you need the same thing you would do with yourself is remove. Don't let emotion have it. Yes, I understand you're a bad bitch. I understand you. I don't need no. Right. I understand that. I'm a good mother. I understand that, but I need to know why this bothers you.
Right.
And let her explore why it bothers you, because she's going to have to give you an answer. And you will have to, I guarantee you she will deflect and go in different directions several times before she answers it. But you have to be diligent, and you got to you got to be Mutombo kind of defense where you go, look, yes, I understand again, you've stated that you are a bad bitch again, and I still need to know why this bothers you.
Right.
And then once she can articulate it, you force her to articulate. Are you afraid? Does this intimidate you because I'm listening to these things? Do you think that I don't love you? Do you think that if I listen to these, well, I don't. You got to dig down into it, especially if you're married and you got 3 kids. You got to dig down into it and find out what the problem is, and then you can eradicate it. But and a lot of times it's like, listen, what I'm listening to as I listen to is an entertainment purposes. I respect what this man says and how he says it, and I got you because of the principles that he's talking about. So if you have you got to make a decision. But I don't think that anybody should be telling you what you listen to or don't listen to. I'm quite sure she listens to whatever the fuck she wants to listen to. The difference is there's certain things she wouldn't. Like when she's watching porn, you don't know what kind of porn she's watching. So if
she's watching Baddies with Suki Hana and fucking Krishan Rock and all that shit. I don't think shit about that.
Right, and you listen to the hip hop wives and all these bum ass fucking ratchet bitches and stuff, and I'm supposed to be okay with that. And then what you want, but it comes from insecurity. And if you drill down to what the real problem is, what the emotion is, then you can, as a husband, you can fix it. Because all she's really looking for, listen, what I'm listening to, we have a family. I love my kids. I love you. I love you as a wife. You're a great wife. I'm glad that, the job is better. I'm making more money. We can do more things. But nothing I'm listening to is going to make me leave you. Because this is really what the insecurity is. The insecurity. You might hear something that somebody says and leave me. And to be honest, if your wife, if I'm saying something about a situation and it is your wife, you better deal with it, because it's a fucking cancer. Just like with old boy that I just spoke to, I'm saying this chick talked to you, ghosted you, and you went back in for another dose. And then she comes back, gaslights you, and I hate saying gas, it sounds so fruity, but she's lying to you, and then she comes back, I don't think you did. Like, bitch, what makes you think that you can define who I am not even in a conversation, in a text message? You have discerned my whole existence and my whole being from a text message. That's a crazy bitch. One thing I will say, I'm glad that he smashed and kept it moving. I hope she don't call back and he don't go back, because he's going to end up in a tragedy if he's fucking with this crazy bitch.
Hey man, that's another story, because my brother going through things right now. I know you ain't got time. But, get him a consultation. Let me set him up, but just make sure he wants a consultation, because you got to understand too. People sometimes you be surprised. Dudes have that low self-esteem and they want that beating. They want to get spanked. He needs it. I've been beating it to his head, but I'm big brother, man. So he'll take it.
Let him tune in. Let him tune into the show. Get him to listen to the show, and I'll get a hold of him and we'll fix him. All right, bro. I appreciate you, bro.
Okay. Hey, and I appreciate you, bro. You helped me out, man. I know how to approach this situation.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you got to drill down in this. You got to drill down in this and find out what the problem is, and don't let her deflect. Don't let her reflect or cry or yell or stuff. You don't yell. Just remove the emotion and ask the questions. And when she deflects, you just back to the question. What bothers you about this? What is the thing that bothers? What do you think? Do you think I'm gonna leave you? Do you think? I mean, if she doesn't go, give her some options, and then you can move on from there. Feel me?
Yeah, I got you, man.
All right, cool.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Myq, we got time for one more?
We can do one quick one. It's like 5 minutes.
All right.
So like a quick one. Yeah, so one more caller.
Give me we got one coming, or we can put the number up?
I'll put the number up.
Man, because I know, Myq, I'm going to hear in the comments, you spent too much time with that motherfucker. But understand something, y'all. I know y'all want a bunch of phone calls and you want me to cover, but there's real life lessons. 347-464-2827. There's real life lessons that you could learn from somebody else's situation. Everybody thinks that their situation is individual and it's so different. Let me tell you, all guys are the same. Yeah, we got a call. And all girls are the same. We all do the same shit. You know how you know? Nobody's ever taken a shit face in the tank. Billions of people, nobody takes a shit face in the tank. And if you ask me, it'd be cool because you can put a sandwich there.
When I was a kid, I used to put my toys on it.
Never
as an adult.
But did you ever straddle the other way? No, I mean, nobody does that. So, what, we got a phone call? Let's go.
Caller right there.
Shalom.
Hey, what's going on? Shalom, bro. Wait, who am I speaking with?
This is Nia. I was calling. I have a question.
Sure.
I mean, going up, like stepping your game up. Got a date with a really baddie tomorrow.
Okay.
How do I keep it ahead of me?
Okay.
Instead of blowing it up. Let me hop off then. So I can hear you.
Wait. Say that again. Repeat that again.
All right. I'm stepping up the level with the type of ladies that I'm talking to.
Okay.
Throughout the program.
Okay.
I have now like a little date tomorrow with this now next baddie that I just met.
Right.
How do I keep it ahead of me instead of then looking at it where like I think she's so fine, then I fuck it up, but how do I keep it ahead of me to not do that?
So what are you saying? The best way I could put this is this, and this is gonna be a little vulgar, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Say you got a chick who's a 10. Well, let's do we don't go 10, we go 1 to 30, right? 30 would be the existence of a 10. And a 10 would be anywhere from 5 to whatever. So you understand what I'm saying. My point is, if you got a chick and she's a 28, right? And you get her home and she pulls her panties down and it smells like a fish market, where does that put her on your scale 1 to 30?
-2.
Okay. -2. How about this? You take a girl and she's gaslighting you, she's telling you, she's texting you, she won't talk to you, and she's going, you don't understand, you ain't never been through nothing. Where does that put her? And she says some crazy shit like that. Just makes these assumptions based on a text message. Where does that put her on a scale of 1 to 10?
When she's texting me?
Yeah, you're texting her, but I'm talking about the first call we had earlier. Where does that put? Where does that put her if she has mental illness, bipolar?
I'd have dropped it. I've tried some bipolars, but I dropped it. It don't work.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, her attractiveness is a variable. It's not the only variable. You know?
Yes.
If you got a chick and she's a straight 30, right? And you come home and she's fucking your dad, usually that doesn't keep her a 30. Like, so what I'm saying is, looks is a variable. It's not the only variable. And when we understand that, the fact that we put anybody on a pedestal when they haven't earned it is a problem. You got to be like, the jury is still out. We're still deliberating on whether this woman is for me. She's sane. I mean, even if she could have that, she could be a lousy fuck. You got, I mean, I've dated a girl with a tilted vagina and sweet girl and the whole nine, but she couldn't take no dick. Like, it was just, she was in pain. She had a tilted, small vagina and loved being around, loved hanging out, but it just was, anytime we tried to have sex, it was like, ooh, wait. And it was just so awful that we ended up not fucking around because it just was, it just took everything away. And everything else was great. If you got somebody, if you meet a girl and she's bad as hell, but she got a coke habit, there's all these variables that could be wrong with somebody. And what we do is we put them on a pedestal because looks are important to us. And we have made a decision about what this woman is based on our desire, the fact that we want to sleep with them, and because of what they look like. And what on the back end is when you learn all the dirt and all the stuff that decrease. Every bad chick in the world, right, has a dude who's dating them or with them that don't want to fuck them, that's annoyed with them. Yes. Halle Berry, to me, is one of the baddest bitches ever in the history of the world, and she was with 3 different dudes that was beating her ass. Now, I'm not condoning it, but I'm saying at some point in time, when this is when you're with the third dude that has this kind of physical abuse, there's a common denominator. So what I'm saying, instead of you putting all your money on the fact that she's pretty, pull back and understand that these things that men in general have that I think that we don't value is honesty, credibility, and empathy. Ace, this is the principles of the show. And when you exhibit those principles, like, if I ask you, out of all your friends, how many of them are ultimately honest all the time? Very few. How many of them show up when they say they're going to show up, always credible? Very few. And how many of them are empathetic, that really concerned about other people and other people's work? Very few. If you put all 3 of those characteristics in one person, how many guys do you know out of your friends? How many of them would you say exhibit those 3 characteristics?
Maybe 2.
Okay, so my point is that you got to know this is not no mumbo jumbo, no magic. Here it is, basic math, supply and demand. When you are an upstanding dude, a truthful dude who's credible and empathetic, those characteristics, to have all of those things, makes you such a commodity that you are valuable beyond what people, because we don't know a lot of people who exhibit one of those characteristics, much less.
Okay.
And so your value, you have to base your value on the scarcity. Now, don't get me wrong, you still have to talk, and I would have to teach you how to sell that. But what we do is I'm going to give you one thing, and then we're going to close this out, Myq. Have you ever seen the Antique Roadshow?
No.
Okay, Myq, you know what it is, right?
White people love that show.
Yeah. Well, so a guy.
Okay, I'm not white.
It doesn't matter, but you still. We know white shit. Stop playing, dog. Black people gotta stop acting like they don't know the words to Sweet Caroline. Stop. Here's what I'm saying. So the show is this: somebody finds a lamp in a basement, or finds a statue in a basement. They take it and they say, they get an expert. They view it and they say, okay, this is worth $10,000 or $50,000. This was pre-Civil War, whatever, and people get money for stuff that they would normally see junk. Now, I ask this question all the time. If somebody finds a Tiffany lamp, and the Tiffany lamp, they find the lamp in the garbage, and then it gets appraised, and the Tiffany lamp is worth $20,000, right? My question is, what was the lamp worth when it was in the garbage?
$20,000.
$20,000. Why is it worth $20,000? Because most people say it's not worth nothing because it's in the garbage. But whenever somebody says that, I say you took $20,000, put it in a brown paper bag, and you threw it in the garbage. What is that $20,000 worth in the garbage?
It should be worth $20,000.
$20,000, right? So the value, your value doesn't change just because people don't have the expertise or the intellect to know what your value is. Do you understand?
Yes, I do understand.
So when you have a woman and she's like, oh, I want niggas with cars and this and that. She doesn't, just because she's too dumb to know that your value doesn't diminish your value. Now, there's a whole other thing. That's why you got to keep listening to the show and listen to the podcast and sign up for the page, because I teach you how to market those qualities are so rare that it puts you on another level. You're a guy who's honest, who keeps his word and is empathetic to other people. It's so rare, right? You as a commodity is through the roof. Now, nobody don't want somebody who's 800 pounds and smells like fucking ass either. I mean, all of those things are important, but I'm at the core, if your character has value, then you have more value. And just because some little hottie who it may be too dumb or maybe just hasn't had any experience or just she's so accustomed to people telling her she's beautiful and giving her everything she wants, doesn't see what your value, it doesn't diminish your value. So stop being so excited. You don't know. Best way I can put it, stop being so excited. You don't know if her pussy stink. That's the best way to put it. You have no idea if her pussy stink. My point is, she has no more value than you. In fact, less, because of the fact that you're pursuing her. You're going to spend the money on the date. You're going to have to pick her up. You're going to have to plan the date out so that it's interesting. You're going to have to keep the conversation going. Very rarely, and I would be remiss to say this, how many dudes ever go out on a date where the girl is responsible for keeping the date going, being interesting, being funny, finding a place to go, picking something? All the burden of that is on us.
Right.
But we don't even take credit for that. Not that you say you should, but what I'm saying is, what does this woman bring to the table when she goes on? Nothing. She just shows the fuck up, eats your food, drinks your drink, she blinks slow, and maybe you might be able to get some pussy at the end of it. And we don't even know that. So don't just because she's a baddie doesn't mean shit, dog. You have to think about what you would want in a person, and does she exhibit those qualities? Because if she doesn't exhibit those qualities, you're going to have a problem later down the road, and it ain't going to be worth it. It could be worth child support, alimony, whole bunch of shit. I've had a chick stab me. So I don't walk into any situation, no matter how bad the bitch is, and go, this is my lucky day. I went. Yeah, let's see. Let me talk to you. Let me see where your head's at. Let me see how smart you are. Let me see what your morality is. Let me see what your character is. Do you keep your word? Do you not lie? Are you empathetic? Do you give a fuck about me? Do you give a fuck about my? And let's be honest. How many of us have had women that take into consideration all those things? Make sense?
That makes sense.
Don't get over your skis. You feel me? This is an interview for her, just like it's an interview for you.
Okay.
All right.
I appreciate you.
Yo, let's shut it down, Mikey. I appreciate y'all calling, man. Don't forget the DanteNero.com. Click on consult the Dante Nero on Instagram. We're gonna be doing live on Facebook too as well, if that's your thing or whatever. GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, what would Dante do? The Sexual Revolution is being podcasted. I love y'all, man. Keep listening. We'll be back here next Tuesday, 8:30. Baka! Later, y'all.
Man School 202. Better hear what I've got to say, because you won't get it again.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Well, put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't.